another kind of story altogether.
Who's feeling young now?
So they couldn't retire? What happened to them?
Well, let's see. The first little pig was uninsured and had used up most of his savings on medical expenses. His Social Security checks were a crucial part of his Florida dream. But it was 2033, and Social Security was in as bad a shape as he was. His benefits were suddenly cut by 23%. And a note explained that the almost insolvent system meant future payments were uncertain. Meanwhile, the second pig had just learned that his city pension plan was underfunded. The city had recently negotiated with its employees to give them only half of what he had been counting on, just like in Rhode Island.
But the third pig was okay, right? He was the smartest one.
The third pig had done everything he thought he was supposed to do. He had contributed regularly and generously to his 401k.
I knew it.
Unfortunately, the economy in the Enchanted Forest had taken a nasty downturn when the elf cookie market tanked. Saw that coming. His 401k was worth a lot less than last time he had checked. And even bricks might not be enough to stop the wolf this time.
It's not fall over anymore.
It's not going to fall over? Well, if we build it the right way, it won't fall over.
Not so many years ago, Aaron and his wife Debbie were confident they were building their future the right way.
Yeah. Like that?
Sure.
But today, those plans have been derailed by an onslaught of setbacks.
Pumpkin.
You see that one? And the dice are supposed to stand on it.
It's hard to believe this bouncy, happy 3-year-old has a congenital heart defect.
Do you want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, Cece?
I'm not hungry.
And it was hard for Debbie Kinkella to believe when she first heard the news 7 months into her much-anticipated pregnancy.
I cried for like 2 months every night. I just cried myself to sleep. It was an odd time in my life because that was right when I had gotten laid off. This was the first time that we held Cece.
While Debbie was grateful for the time off to focus on the birth of Cece, losing the income from Debbie's job couldn't have come at a worse time, as medical expenses would begin to pile up.
I figure the year Cece was born, we were probably into it for between $18,000 and $20,000 just for healthcare premiums. You help Daddy put his shoes on? There you go.
Aaron works in the IT department for a Seattle-based cookware company. He has a good benefits package, but Cece's medical needs still take a good piece of his paycheck.
Put your foot in there. I would love to say that my healthcare costs were a couple $100 a month and then put the rest of it in our 401k, and I can only imagine what my 401k would look like at that point. But, you know, pretty close to 20% of my income goes to paying my healthcare expenses. Going to school, sweetie.
And even before Cece's high healthcare costs, Aaron and Debbie's retirement planning had taken a huge hit.
Did you see that?
Literally 12 days before we got married, we had to move out of our house due to the fact that most of the house was underwater. The supply line on the upstairs toilet had popped off the toilet, and it ran for what we figure pretty close to 4 days. So we moved out, renovated the upstairs, and then still 5, 6 years later, I'm still renovating the home.
The busted supply line was just the beginning to their unexpected losses. Next was the bursting of the real estate bubble, taking with it half the value of their $300,000 Seattle home.
The part that scares me about the home is really what it does to our long-term financial future. Paying the mortgage isn't a problem. It's how do you recover from being $150,000 in the hole when one of the biggest assets in your retirement years is the equity in your home?
Life happens. People should save because there are things that happen to you that you can't expect to plan for. Your old self needs your young self's money.
Want Daddy to carry you? Come here, pumpkin.
And the younger you are saving for your old self, you don't have to sacrifice that much.
Now it's off to work.
But Debbie and Aaron were saving.
Tens of thousands in savings, and not many people can say that.
In fact, this is a family who's played by the rules.
Well, Mike and I were talking about that account.
Debbie now juggles 2 part-time jobs.
Okay, great, thank you.
They drive 12-year-old cars. He contributes regularly to his 401k. And they have a sizable amount in savings. But still, they're unable to imagine ever retiring.
You know, previous generations were able to accomplish that. You know, my neighbor, he got equity in his home, a substantial amount. He's got a pension.